Hey y'all, it's Mike McGroarty from Mike's Backyard Nursery. Today, kind of rainy here, but the plan is I'm working by myself. I'm gonna divide up some ornamental grasses and pot those up. But I just kind of want to give you a little tour of my potting bench plan, because these potting benches kind of remind me of how I feel, because they are just tired and worn out. So let me see. I'm going to go ahead and switch this around so we can get a better view. Yeah, so you can see these tired old potting benches. I don't know, they're probably somewhere around 10 years old, and they were made out of treated wood, but treated plywood doesn't have the best shelf life in the world. So, but they kind of look like how I feel some days, just tired and worn out. So I got to do some jury rigging here to get this one fixed up. The middle one I'm not going to worry about. This one over here it's usable, but the legs are all wobbly and stuff, so I got it propped up on some bricks. But you know what, it's going to work for now. So anyway, the plan today is to divide some ornamental grasses, get them potted up. This is my perennial bed, and there's some Victoria rhubarb in here. There's a whole bunch of the snow angel coral bells that I use that. I propagate from that. There's 2 or 3 different kind of irises in here. Here's a row of ornamental onion. I divided one of those yesterday. Actually, you can see I still got the spade sticking there where I dug it out. And then these grasses right here, this is morning light. It's a variegated ornamental grass, so it's really one of my favorite grasses. So anyway, the plan today is to bust out a couple of these clumps, divide them up, and get them potted up. So, and Fergus is going to eat rhubarb. So, yeah, apparently any rhubarb that gets near the fence isn't going to last long. But anyway, let's see where we go from here. All right, so I dug out this clump of ornamental grass. I took it over to my compost wagon over there. I just cut all the tops off. And now, remember, if you look back a few videos, I made this thing specifically for this, because I was busting up those hydrangeas trying to get them separated. So this is why I made this, so that I could just take it and at least knock the dirt off to try and get this stuff apart. I remember the very first time that I tried to divide an ornamental grass, and it was a very mature grass with a great big root ball like this. I'm telling you, that was like trying to divide a bowling ball. I was out there with a hammer and a chisel, and I mean, I was just doing everything I could. Now, some people actually use a sawzall or a reciprocal saw to just cut through them with a pruning blade on it, so if you're ever in that situation, that is an option. I'm kind of hoping that I can just pull this apart. That's about all the dirt off of there. So now I want to get this dirt out of here so it doesn't end up in my potting soil, because there's a big difference between garden soil and potting soil. Garden soil is not going to drain well in a nursery pot. So that will go in the compost bin. Now, will this come apart? That's a good sign. And now I got to get some roots. I think that'll work. Yeah. See, that's why you got to divide these things when they're young like this, because man, if you leave them in the ground very long, I don't know if these been in a year or 2 years, but they really need to be divided now, because if not, it's going to be a real job. Okay, that's junk, but that's nice. So I've got the potting video, which you probably have already seen. It hasn't been uploaded at this time, but by the time you see this, it probably will be uploaded. So I'm not going to reinvent that wheel for you. But anyway, it looks like this is going to work. It looks like my handy dandy little tool is working well enough to make this project somewhat feasible. So I'm not going to bore you to death with more of this. So anyway, dividing ornamental grasses, this variety is Morning Light. I don't know if you can see it in here, but it's a real fine textured grass, and it's got a green and white variegation to it. It's real pretty, it's real wispy. It gets about 4 foot tall. So a lot of grasses I don't like, but Morning Light is probably one of my all-time favorites. So all right, until next time, by any and all means, stay inspired.